You know that feeling, right? You're out in your garden, you see your plants looking yellow, stunted, and you've tried everything. You've spent a ton of money on all sorts of fertilizers and nothing seems to work. Well, today we're going to explore a completely revolutionary and get this, zero-cost method from Jadam Agriculture. It's all about turning the one thing you probably hate the most, weeds, into an incredibly powerful liquid gold for your plants.
It's just such a frustrating cycle, isn't it? You pour all this money into these bags and bottles, hoping for this amazing, lush growth. But what happens? Often the soil just gets harder, it cracks, it feels, well, dead, and your plants seem to get weaker every single season. Today, we are absolutely going to break that cycle for good.
So let's just dive right in and confront this kind of painful contradiction. It's the fact that so many of us are literally paying money to make our soil worse while we're throwing away a free, powerful organic solution that's growing right there under our feet.
I mean, just look at this. On one side, you've got the money we spend, and we're talking millions, sometimes tens of millions of dong a year, on chemical stuff that just leads to compacted, lifeless soil. And on the other side, all those green, vibrant weeds that we work so hard to get rid of. It's a resource we're actively trying to destroy.
It sounds crazy when you say it out loud, but that's the bottom line. We are often paying for the privilege of destroying our own land's fertility. Meanwhile, the very thing that could save it, we treat like garbage. It's time to change that mindset.
All right, Section 2. This is where we flip the script. It is time to bust some serious myths about weeds. We're going to look at what the science says they're actually doing in your garden. And I promise you, you will never, ever look at them the same way again.
For what, generations? We've all been taught that weeds are the bad guys, right? They're thieves, stealing water and food from our precious crops. But the scientific truth, the one that systems like Jadam are built on, tells a totally different story. Weeds aren't thieves. They are nature's little treasure hunters. They are your best allies.
So what do I mean by mineral miners? Well, check this out. The roots on a lot of these weeds are incredibly tough and powerful. They can drill down into hard pan clay soil that your vegetable roots could never dream of reaching. Down there, they unlock and soak up all these amazing minerals, calcium, potassium, you name it. Then, they bring all that goodness up to the surface and store it in their leaves for us. How cool is that?
And this all connects to a really beautiful core idea in Jadam agriculture, the law of return. Just think about it this way. Mother Earth is basically lending these deep, precious minerals to the weeds. Our job as the gardeners and farmers is to just be the managers of that transaction. We make sure that loan gets paid back to the soil, where our crops can finally use it.
Now you might be thinking, hey, why not just throw them in the compost pile? It's a great question, but here's the kicker. When we burn weeds or use those really hot composting methods, most of that super valuable nitrogen just turns into gas and poof, it's gone into the atmosphere. A total waste. The Jadam method, though, uses this cool underwater fermentation process that keeps basically 100% of that vital nitrogen locked in the liquid, ready to go right back into the soil.
Which brings us to the part I know you've been waiting for. Section 3. This is the nuts and bolts, the step-by-step, totally zero-cost recipe for making your own Jadam Liquid Fertilizer, or JLF. This is where we officially turn that trash into treasure.
And it is so simple. Just 4 steps. Okay, step 1, the secret sauce. Forget buying fancy microbes. Just go find an old tree or a bamboo patch, somewhere that hasn't been sprayed. Grab a handful of that dark, rich, crumbly soil from right under the leaves. That's your Indigenous Microorganism, your IMO. It's packed with local microbes ready to work. Step 2, chop up a bunch of different weeds and stuff a bucket about 3/4 full. Step 3, fill it up with water. Rainwater's the best. And toss in that handful of magic soil. Give it a good stir. And finally, step 4, cover it loosely, and I mean loosely, and stick it in the shade. In a warm climate, it's ready in as little as 10 days. It is literally that easy.
Now here's where it gets really fun, because you get to be the head chef. You can totally customize this recipe. Need a big nitrogen boost for leafy greens? Use weeds that are legumes, like the sensitive plant. Got tomatoes that need calcium and potassium for strong fruit? Use something like amaranth. And here's the ultimate pro tip. To feed a specific crop, like chili peppers, make a JLF out of the chili pepper leaves you pruned off. You'll be giving it back the exact mineral signature it needs most.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work?
Well, talk is cheap. Results are everything. So for Section 4, let's look at the hard data. These numbers prove just how much of a game changer this simple method really is. Just take a second and look at that number, 98%. Let that sink in for a moment. By using what's already on your land, weeds and local microbes, the Jadam method can slash your farming costs by up to 98% compared to so-called commercial organic farming that still makes you buy all their stuff.
And if that number wasn't shocking enough, this bar chart makes it crystal clear. Commercial organic can cost you up to 150 million dong per acre. With Jadam, because your inputs are free, that cost just plummets to around 2.5 million. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a complete economic revolution for farmers.
And get this, cheaper does not mean weaker, not even close. It's the exact opposite. Studies have shown that JLF can increase the leaf count on chili plants by a mind-blowing 132%. Why? Because you're bringing the soil back to life and delivering nutrients in a form plants can absorb instantly. Now, this method is incredibly powerful, and with that power comes some responsibility. So let's get serious for a minute in Section 5. Please pay close attention, because avoiding these two critical mistakes is the difference between amazing success and total disaster. Okay, warning number 1 is a straight-up safety issue, and I am not kidding about this. That fermentation process creates a lot of gas. If you screw that lid on tight, pressure will build and build until that container can literally explode. So please, always just cover it loosely. A piece of cloth or just placing the lid on top without sealing it is perfect.
And warning number 2 is all about protecting your beloved plants. The final JLF liquid is not a gentle tea. It's a super concentrate. It's rocket fuel. If you pour it directly on your plant's roots, you will burn them and you will most likely kill your plants. You absolutely must dilute it.
So what's the magic formula? It's this golden ratio right here. You need to burn this into your brain, 1 to 100. That's 1 part of your JLF concentrate mixed with 100 parts of clean water. If you're nervous, start even weaker. And always just apply it to the soil around the base of the plant.
All right, for our final section, let's zoom out a little, because Jadam isn't just a recipe. It's a fundamental shift in how you see yourself, your garden, and your relationship with nature. It's about taking on a whole new mindset, the manager's mindset.
Just look at this transformation. The old way, you're basically a passive consumer. You're dependent on a store, on a corporation, for expensive products. The Jadam way, you become an active ecosystem manager. You're no longer fighting against nature, you're co-creating with it, using what's already there to build abundance. You're in charge. And really, if you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this simple quote. Weeds are not waste. They are an asset. Once you truly, deeply believe that, your entire garden changes. They're no longer a problem you have to solve. They're a crop of fertility that you get to manage.
So I'm going to leave you with a question, a challenge, really. Don't just watch this and think, that's interesting. I want you to do it. Tomorrow morning when you go outside and you see those weeds, don't just sigh and start pulling. Look at them differently. Find a bucket, grab your so-called enemies, and start the incredible process of turning them into your garden's most powerful and completely free best friend.